Breaking news, and it's sending shockwaves across Washington tonight. Reports are emerging that former President Donald Trump may be facing treason-related accusations following what's being described as an unlawful and chaotic James Comey trial. What began as a routine hearing has spiraled out of control, with whispers of leaked evidence, courtroom outbursts, and a judge reportedly stunned by the sudden turn of events. Is this a genuine legal bombshell, or another politically driven storm aimed at Trump? Stay with us, because what just unfolded inside that courtroom could change everything we thought we knew about this case. To understand what just happened, we have to rewind. James Comey, the former FBI director fired by Donald Trump back in 2017, has once again stepped into the political spotlight. His name has always been tied to controversy, from the Clinton email probe to his explosive fallout with the Trump administration. This new trial was supposed to settle old questions, to clarify allegations about how key investigations were handled years ago, but instead it's done the opposite. Legal insiders are calling it a mess from the very beginning. Leaked reports claim parts of the hearing were improperly handled. Documents may have been admitted without clearance, and some witnesses allegedly went off script, creating confusion and chaos inside the courtroom. What was meant to bring transparency has now opened a dangerous new chapter, one that might have just turned a political dispute into a national scandal. And then, everything changed. What started as a tense but orderly hearing suddenly erupted into total chaos. According to multiple courtroom observers, it began when a key witness was pressed on a series of classified communications, exchanges that reportedly involved high-level government figures and sensitive intelligence briefings. The defense objected instantly. Voices rose, the prosecution fired back, and before anyone could react, the judge slammed the gavel, demanding order. But it was too late. The words had already been spoken. One witness hinted that critical information about national security protocols had been mishandled, and that a top official might have been aware of it, setting off gasps inside the courtroom. Attorneys scrambled to control the narrative. One side accused the other of fabricating testimony, while the other claimed they were protecting classified truths the public deserved to know. The tension was electric. Cameras captured lawyers whispering, security officers tightening their stance, and journalists rushing to text their editors, because everyone in that room knew they had just crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. By the time the session was adjourned, the mood had shifted from legal debate to open crisis. What was supposed to be a controlled proceeding had turned into a political bomb ready to explode, and the shockwaves were only beginning. And then came the moment no one expected. As the dust settled from the courtroom clash, one word began to echo through the halls: treason. It wasn't shouted in the media or thrown around by pundits. It reportedly came from behind closed doors, whispered among officials reviewing classified transcripts and the evidence presented earlier that day. Legal insiders say the word appeared in an internal memo, one suggesting that certain actions, if proven intentional, could meet the legal threshold for acts against the state. The leak was instant. Within minutes, the phrase Trump and treason started trending side by side, igniting a firestorm online and sending shockwaves through Washington. Some dismissed it as political theater, another smear in a long line of attacks. But others, including a few former prosecutors, warned that the allegations, if substantiated, could carry the most severe penalties imaginable. Outside the courthouse, reporters surrounded officials demanding answers, but no one spoke. The Justice Department refused to comment. And yet, that single word, treason, had already changed the entire tone of the investigation. Whether it's real or just rumor, it was enough to shake the foundation of American politics once again. The reaction was instant and explosive. Trump supporters called it a setup, a deliberate attempt by the so-called deep state to destroy him once and for all. One viral post read, "They couldn't beat him at the ballot box, so now they're trying the courtroom." Meanwhile, Trump's critics claimed this was the long-awaited reckoning, that justice was finally catching up after years of controversy and investigations. On Capitol Hill, lawmakers scrambled to respond. Some demanded an immediate inquiry into how this information was leaked, while others urged calm, warning against what they called a dangerous rush to judgment. Cable news ran nonstop coverage. Every panel was divided, every anchor asking the same question. Could a former U.S. president really be charged with treason? And as the story spread across the world, foreign leaders began watching closely. Allies quietly expressed concern, while rivals saw an opportunity, questioning America's stability and unity in a time of internal chaos. The political storm had officially gone global, and there was no stopping it. As the headlines exploded, Donald Trump himself broke the silence. In a fiery statement posted to his platform, he called the accusations a total disgrace, the biggest political hoax in American history. Trump wrote, "They've tried everything to stop me. Investigations, impeachments, lies, and now they're making up treason. It's a witch hunt, plain and simple." Within minutes, his words went viral. Supporters rallied behind him, repeating the same phrase that defined his presidency, witch hunt. Outside his Florida residence, small crowds gathered waving flags and chanting his name. Online, donations to his legal fund spiked overnight. But inside Trump's inner circle, the tone was reportedly different, far more serious. Advisors met behind closed doors, legal teams drafted emergency responses, and sources say Trump himself demanded to know who leaked the word treason and why. Meanwhile, his lawyers issued a statement claiming the Comey proceedings were tainted, politically motivated, and built on false testimony. They promised to fight back and warned that those pushing this narrative would, quote, face consequences for weaponizing the justice system. For Trump, it wasn't just about defending his name, it was about survival. Tonight, the nation stands on edge. What began as a routine courtroom proceeding has spiraled into one of the most unpredictable political storms in modern history. The word treason still hangs heavy, unconfirmed, unproven, but impossible to ignore. Legal experts warn that even if the claims collapse, the damage may already be done. Trust in the system, in the courts, in the truth itself, all shaken once again. For Donald Trump, this may be his greatest test yet, not just in politics, but in history. Will this moment mark the beginning of a new legal reckoning, or just another battle in America's endless war of narratives? One thing is certain. Whatever happens next will echo far beyond the courtroom walls. Because in this story, every headline, every leak, every accusation has the power to reshape the future of a nation.